Hello and welcome to our Salesforce United episode, a podcast about Salesforce and people who work with it. Here we discuss engineering discoveries, professional secrets, and careers of our guests. I'm Olga Dmitrieva, a Salesforce software testing engineer, and to my delight, your host.
Hello, my name is Elena Ulyanova. I am a Salesforce enthusiast, Salesforce consultant, and for my pleasure, the host of the Salesforce United podcast.
So welcome to today's special episode, and you will never guess who is the guest today. Without further ado, I'm thrilled to introduce Andrei Paskryakov, a seasoned software engineer with Java and Salesforce stacks. What's even more excited, Andrei is the founder of the Salesforce United podcast, the one which brings us all together. We are really excited to have you here, Andrei, with us, as a lot of stuff has happened in your career since you founded the podcast. And today we would like to have a small conversation about you, your career, of course, Salesforce and IT industry in general.
Hi. Thanks for having me, Olga, Elena. That is absolutely incredible pleasure to join Salesforce United podcast again.
Especially as a guest, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so sit back, relax, and let's get started.
Hi, Andrei. Nice to meet you again as a guest nowadays. Actually, let's start from the very beginning. And can you tell us a bit about your background and how you got started in the tech industry?
Yeah, that actually originally started in my childhood with some programming club. You know, many of us had some kind of programming club or programming courses in our childhood. But then I worked in a different industry. I spent many years in consulting industry, and the next chapter of this software engineering story started in 2020 with EPAM system and internship program, and I joined that internship, and then became a software engineer at the EPAM systems, and it started actually with Java. My first project was Java, and originally I was Java programmer. And then after my first Java project, I joined Salesforce project. And even before that, I had some, I had this kind of interest to cloud technologies, to Salesforce specifically. And I started collecting information. What is it? How it works? What projects are available? What actually Salesforce developers do during their workday? So this is how it started.
Okay, thanks. So very interesting how you dive from Java into Salesforce. What made you to choose Salesforce as a platform?
It's a mix of my interest to cloud technologies, and it took me some time to understand, but the second component of this, second ingredient of this story is, I think, my interest to business domains, to business logic, and unlike some other technologies, when you work with Salesforce, you are much closer to business users. You are much closer to business needs, what actually should be implemented. Not always from purely technical perspective, but a lot from business logic perspective and business requirements, and the most important at the end of the story, from the business value perspective. That is it. I think these things are foundation for my interest to Salesforce, and after that it just started with Trailhead. And there's one specific thing I remember most from my Salesforce journey. That is how fun the Trailhead was, because I just started it and solved tons of training tasks. And then actually I got Salesforce developer certification even before joining my first Salesforce project. It was just interesting to get, and it was fun. And then after joining the project, the real project, I got what I wanted.
Okay, Andrei, so your story sounds really interesting and there are a lot of achievements and you have so many interests. But what I would like to say that I often notice that people forget about their achievements and about their failures as well. But in any case, they forget. And it is so important to always know your worth because mistakes help you to recognize what should be improved in the future. And achievements boost your self-esteem and motivates you to move forward, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And on this note, I would like to ask you to share any kind of memorable or exciting project or achievement or a challenge that you tackled during your time as a Salesforce developer. Are there any?
Yeah, that's actually a very good question. It makes me think about my life, like the whole my professional life. I think I think I can share something that that had profound influence on me, and it's related to Salesforce. That is I think it's not about huge achievements. It's about something that was important for me, and year after year, I realized that it's really important. It's actually my first project, my first Salesforce project that I joined, and it was in healthcare domain. We used Sales Cloud, Service Cloud, and actually we were using a lot of Salesforce capabilities. And the main highlight about this project is that it had really complex business logic. Like the business logic was complex. It was implemented from many countries, and maybe from purely technical perspective, the project was not so challenging, but from a business logic perspective, from business requirements perspective, that was really complex and challenging. And that was the project that explained to me and gave me this feeling of how business logic is important, how understanding your business domain is important, and that is piece of knowledge I carry to every project. I still have this, and I still respect people who understands business logic good.
Yeah, so as far as I understand, that could be a key general lesson, right? A vivid one which can be used by the audience. Thank you very much. It is a really important point.
Okay, thank you. Let's proceed then with the idea how you come up with the creating the podcast, actually, and how this podcast influenced your life after the creation.
Yeah, that was actually very interesting to meet people outside everyday job. We always work with the same set of people, same team. We meet them every day, and that was very interesting to realize that a lot of exciting people and a lot of exciting things happen in many countries on many different projects. And when I realized that there are a number of different Salesforce communities, sometimes local Salesforce communities and clubs, and then I just wanted to talk to these people. To all these people, not all of them at once, but one by one. And I started meeting people who had amazing set of certifications. For example, that was the first episode of Salesforce United podcast that was about certifications. And then people who are great in business analysis in this area. People who knows a lot about cutting edge technologies and all these things. So that was just interesting for me to look a bit, to look beyond my everyday job, and maybe share this feeling that that every one of us can spend 20 minutes, 30 minutes to look a little beyond their everyday job, everyday tasks. This is the main point. And also, obviously, I was choosing to talk to people, to invite guests that were just interesting for me personally. Because sometimes I feel that specific topic is very important, and maybe I'm interested in this topic, and I just wanted to find someone who can talk about it, who can share his knowledge, share his views. Yeah.
Yeah, now I know by myself that podcasting is a quite exciting and interesting experience. But if we are talking about your professional life, did the Salesforce podcast impacted your professional life?
Yeah, I think so. It was a combination of commercial Salesforce projects, like real work, and podcast. And this is actually, I think this is the second important idea that I took from Salesforce ecosystem. The first was about business domain. Like let's call the first idea, know your business domain. It is really important. It's great investment. And the second idea from Salesforce and from the podcast, it's actually know your platform, because there is an idea shared by some software engineers and some developers that you can work with some pure language. Like, let's say you are working with Java or C++ or maybe TypeScript. I don't know. Yeah. And in fact, like that my experience shows, it's not true. You never work with pure language. You never work with programming language. I mean, you work with some platform. And this is actually huge insight that I got working with Salesforce and talking to different people in Salesforce communities, that you always work with specific platform. You work, let's say, with Salesforce. You work with you can work with Java as a language, but you usually work with Spring Boot, for example. You work with let's say TypeScript, but really, in fact, you are building something using React, and you always have some specific platform you're working with. And this very important lesson from podcast, that you have communities around platforms, and people can share a lot of knowledge about platforms. And this platform-specific knowledge is very important to build something valuable for business, because it is the platform that gives you an opportunity to build things faster. Like, people invent platforms to build things faster. And you need to know your platform, love your platform, talk to people working with the same platform. And this is the idea that I got from the podcast and from a community.
You see, so we have actually to do a lot of stuff, because I'm listening to you and I just mark that we have to learn a lot, right? We have to be in a community. We have to do a lot of stuff. And have you ever noticed that the pace of today's life is really crazy, isn't it?
Yeah.
And in this mad race of career achievements, a desire to have a quality personal life, other activities which are valuable to you, it is also important to allocate the resources you have and to have balance, and at the same time to have strength to move forward, right? And in this regard, I would like to ask you, how do you maintain your work-life balance, especially given that demanding nature of tech industry you're working in?
Okay. My family is responsible for that, actually. Yeah, it's joke, but it's not like 100% joke. It's 50% true, 50% joke. But yeah. I have maybe a kind of visual representation for this, because like a few things I discussed before about like knowing your business domain, knowing your platform, it's a kind of stage, it's a kind of mindset that when I try to go narrow, when I try to focus on something, because obviously, like learning a lot about business domain and platform, it needs high level of focus. But speaking about work-life balance and speaking about like some other things, it's all about going wide, not narrow. It's about finding some hobbies, reading books. That is actually my everyday passion now. I read a lot, and I try to choose really good books. Some of them on software engineering, some of them not on software engineering at all, and some of them are just novels. And this work-life balance, for me, it's mainly about family and about going wide, about thinking wide, about trying some new things, or trying some hobbies that are not related to your professional activities. Actually, it's all about finding something that you never tried.
You mentioned that you read a lot.
Yeah.
And we
can talk about it a few hours more.
We don't have so much time, but the next question will be related to it. Can you recommend any resources, some such as literature or podcasts or websites, anything that can be useful for learning and to building the career path?
Yeah, I do. I will recommend a lot. Okay, I will share my experience. Let's focus on books on this topic specifically, and I share what changed my experience a lot. First, ebook readers, like devices for reading ebooks, they are amazing. For me personally, it worked amazingly well, and I starting from the moment I bought one of these devices, I started reading much more, and it was a different experience, because before that I needed to allocate time, maybe 30 minutes to read something, or maybe an hour to read something. But if you have a device, and if you developed this habit to just read in 10 or 15 minutes, it changes life a lot. It changed my life a lot. And maybe you can say, or somebody can say, that 10 minutes or 15 minutes is not enough to really feel the book, to understand it. But in a modern world, we sometimes have these 15 minutes and we don't have more. And you can feel these minutes with some reading. You can read a few pages. You can read a small part of a book, and you go through a book step by step with this 15 minutes periods. And also the second amazing thing, it's reading before going to sleep. Guys, just I cannot maybe tell a lot, I cannot share a lot of scientific explanations or psychological explanations myself, but my experience was amazing. Reading before going to sleep, it worked amazingly well for me, and it's good. And sometimes the second trick is that sometimes before going to sleep, you have much more time. You have you can read for 30 minutes, and you can understand and think about some substantial part of the book. And okay, that's actually was a wide idea. It's about how it is important and how I loved this, because
sorry for interruption. Looks like you have a library in your pocket. You can read everything you want to read, and at any time.
Yeah. And also you can read while traveling. That's amazing, because you don't always have reliable internet connection while traveling, but you can read. It works. Yeah. And another thing, it's a kind of magic. I cannot explain it. A lot of things about reading books, they work like a magic for me. And another piece of this magic is that as soon as I read some book, I magically have a chance to use the knowledge from this book. The last example is I read a book about AWS, about some not all, but some subset of AWS, Amazon Web Services. And like immediately in a week, I had some issue, and I had some conversation with my teammate, and I was able to immediately use knowledge from this book, because like it took me 5 minutes to understand what is the issue and what is the root cause of the issue just because I read a book this month. And that happened to me several times. I cannot explain it. It's just a magic. You have some fresh knowledge in your head, and you don't even look for an opportunity to use it. These opportunities, they come to you. Yeah. And about some specific books, like, I don't know what I'm interested in, because should we discuss some specific books or not?
Yeah, and if you can suggest what is better for a newcomer, for example, in development or in Salesforce, to start with, any book, for example, that inspired you the most, you can name it.
Okay, it's unfortunately not going to be about Salesforce, because like this year I work with a different set of technologies, and I don't read about Salesforce, unfortunately. But yeah, I think I will share. Let me share 3 books. A bit controversial, because it's not about all these books. They are not about some modern technologies, but they are very important from my experience. First, and you will be surprised, it's Working Effectively with Legacy Code by Michael Favers. It's about legacy code, and it's a great book on testing and refactoring. I mean, applied refactoring, not just refactoring techniques, but this book is about situations when you really hit the wall and you have some issue and you have huge legacy application, or at least a model of this application, and you need to add a feature, you need to change something, you need to maybe migrate to some new technology, new database or something like this. So that is a bit strange, because we all want to work with modern technologies and not legacy code. Yeah. But still, sometimes we need to do it. And it's a very, very special experience when you need to change a huge system that was written 10 years ago, and you need to do it safely, and you need to understand how it works. And this is extremely helpful book, because sometimes 20% of your work time, you will still work with some legacy code. With you, maybe not so legacy in timeline perspective, maybe not so old, but it can be it can be complicated. It can be tested poorly. It can have a lot of issues, but you still need to work with it. And that is very, very good book, Working Effectively with Legacy Code, Michael Favers. The second one is it's famous book, Designing Data-Intensive Applications by Martin Kleppmann. It's all about working with big data or intensive data processing. It's about databases, about message brokers. I cannot obviously mention all the things, all the things from this book, but it's amazing. It's kind of fundamental knowledge for every software engineer, because you need to understand all the different types of databases and data processing tools you use, even if you don't configure these tools on lower level, you use them and you need to understand how it works. Amazing book. Yeah. Designing data-intensive applications. And the third one, it's not about software engineering at all. And I'm thinking for a moment how to pronounce the name of this book. But I think everyone will understand. Okay. It is written by Mark Manson, and the title is The Subtle Art of Not Giving a F word. Okay, you know. It's just fun. I love this book. It's fun. And if you go through this kind of fun layer of fun things and fun words in this book and fun ideas, you will feel that its core in its core, this book is actually about focusing. It's all about better focusing. It's about sorting things in your life to like more important and less important. And that is very important. That is a very important skill. And actually, it's a lot about work-life balance too, because sometimes we just need to think a little and understand that something is really important, and we must do it immediately as fast as we can. And the other thing is actually not so important, despite maybe we heard a different thing, but not everything is important in life. And this is the core idea of this book, Mark Manson, The Subtle Art of Not Giving a F.
Okay, so great books, great advice. Thank you very much. I'm going to search for them tonight. And we are on the finish track, and the conversation is turning out to be quite interesting. And we've learned a little bit about your secrets of maintaining balance, of your favorite books. And now I think that it is the perfect time to find out about your future plans. So what kind of aspirations do you have, and how do you plan to achieve them?
That's so serious question. Okay, let me answer.
Just a couple of words, like I'm going to be a president. I'm kidding.
No. Actually, it's not about. I will answer. Let me answer not about specific plans, but maybe about things I have great interest to, and maybe this interest will influence my career in the future or not, but I feel that a few things are very important, and I want to know more, and I want to solve more tasks related to these two things. The first one is about product management, and the second one about system design and architecture. The reason why I talk about it is that every day, really, literally every day, I see how good product management and good system design impact life of software engineers, value brought to customers. These two things, they have huge impact on software engineering projects. You have to have amazing product management or business analysis skills, even if you are a software engineer, because it will help, again, distinguish between important things and less important, and have this holistic understanding what business users want to get, what they need, what stages you can have in your projects. If you have a lot of things to deliver, what is the most important thing? And all these questions, they are not technical. They are not related to some specific programming language or database. But if being software engineer, you have natural interests to these questions, you can structure a project, you can structure work, and you can help your teammates a lot, and you can focus better. So two important things. And I want to develop these skills, like the set of skills related to product management and the set of skills related to system design and architecture. And this second part, it sounds much more technical, and it is, yeah. it needs much more technical skills, and you need a huge collection of examples how different systems are built. But the second part of this story is again about requirements and development plans, because systems are built for specific requirements. You build specific architecture, you make specific design decision about database chosen, or about synchronous or asynchronous processing, and all these things based on business requirements, based on the things you know about further development of the system. Because like if you know that let's say load on the system is going to grow rapidly, you will make specific design decisions. But if you are not expecting this, design decisions will be different. Yeah, so these two topics are very interesting for me, and it's not, I think, about switching profession. It's more about adding strong skills from these two areas to my bag.
Yeah, and understanding the process is better, right? So I so much like your plans. Wish you good luck.
Thanks.
Okay, but if we proceed speaking about completely new profession, in opposite, imagine you are to start a really completely new career path today.
From scratch.
From scratch, nothing related to your previous development experience. I mean, it can be development, but not with the technologies that you already have experience to work with. You would like to gain quite different experience with a new technology or quite new career. What it can be, and how you can build your plan, how to achieve this goal to start this new career.
Let's it's actually a very difficult question. Yeah, and let's count 3 to 1, and like 3, 2, 1, and I answer. I think it will be product management in some big data area, product management on some projects that are related to big data and processing huge amounts of data. Maybe it can be related to AI, but I wanna like say it a bit wider on purpose, because not every big data project is related to AI. And why? Okay, it's a good follow-up question that I will ask myself. Why? First, about again product management, because I see huge impact of it. It can be very important, and big data and everything related to huge amounts of data. It always has a lot of engineering challenges, and it's very interesting, like to find this balance between some product requirements and engineering challenges, and some challenges related to big data. You simply cannot find these things in other areas. That's very interesting. It's a huge combination of products, data processing, databases. Always, let's say always, that it means a lot of integrations, because you need data sources, so you need a lot of integrations. That is a very interesting area.
Okay, so nice point. I actually might thought that you would say any other kind of profession, like a cook, for example, a teacher, or a carpenter, whatever. But you named the profession related to IT industry as well. I might assume that this is your vocation, so lucky you are. Not changing the sphere in general. And on this note of future career plans and finding out that lucky you are, I would like to say that we are wrapping up, actually. So, Andrei, it was a great pleasure to see you today, and it was fun to have, guys, this conversation with you. As usually, we have a lot of useful information and hope a lot of insights for our audience. Thank you very much.
Thanks for having me, and that was fascinating conversation. True pleasure for me. Thanks.
Thank you very much, Andrei, for the conversation. Wish you good luck in your personal and professional life. Thank you for coming to us for this podcast. The topic was really very interesting. I think it is also really interesting for our listeners. I would like to thank you, our listeners, for being with us today. And as always, we will be very happy to receive any comments, questions, and ideas. And if you like the podcast, please rate it on the platform and share with friends. Until very soon, till the next interesting podcast, and stay tuned.
Until then, keep trailblazing. Goodbye.
Goodbye.